Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about emotional retaliation. And if there's anyone who has ever been more qualified on this subject, I believe that it would be me. And I saw somebody mention this in a reel that I was watching on Instagram the other day. And I didn't even realize that this is what I was doing. I didn't have the language or the verbiage to actually categorize this type of behavior that I would exhibit a lot more in the past. I don't really do it as often now. But emotional retaliation, I think, is something that a lot of people do if you're not in control of your emotions. So if you're a very emotionally reactive person, if you think that, people are out to get you, the world is not fair, nothing goes your way, all these things, there's a high likelihood that you are emotionally reactive and that you participate in emotional retaliation when things do not go your way or when people aren't doing things that you think that they should be doing or that you want them to do. And I love this phrase. I don't know, I just keep saying it in my mind because now when I think about things, and maybe I'll get more into this as the video goes on as I explain it further, but now when I think about acting out emotionally, I literally see it as emotional retaliation. And the thing about emotional retaliation is that it only hurts you. Whenever you get super angry, super upset to the point where you're lashing out, to the point where you feel like you cannot control yourself, because we're always in control. That's why I wear my necklace, control what you can control, as a reminder. But when you're feeling this way, the only person that it actually hurts is you. And I mean that truly in the long run. Even if you say certain things to people, if you lash out and if you get angry, it will hurt them and they will remember that, and they're able to act in whatever way or respond to, what you say in whatever way that they see fit. But at the end of the day, it only damages you and it only sets you back. And that's something that I'm starting to realize. And it is very difficult. There are some things that used to bother me in the past that I promise you, they do not bother me anymore. I don't care. I can let it go. And I feel like I've closed that chapter in my life. Whereas with other things, I still feel the need, if someone says something I don't like, or if somebody does something that I don't like and I think that they're trying to get at me, I have this immediate response to want to emotionally retaliate and emotionally react. And I'll, do certain things. That can look different ways. It can look like lashing out. It can look like trying to start arguments. It can look like giving the silent treatment and trying to withhold affection or trying to withhold certain things from people because you're okay, well, I'm going to get back at them. They made me feel this way, so now I'm going to do this so that they can feel that way. And in a lot of ways, it just doesn't make them feel anything. And it's you're trying to force people to feel a certain way when you don't have control over other people's behaviors and actions and thoughts. So it's this emotional outburst and emotional retaliation, again, it really only hurts you. It doesn't hurt anybody else. And that's a really big thing to realize, I feel if you're going on a journey of trying to be less reactive and less emotional, because, when you're younger, and you can see a lot of kids do this too. And I think that's why people think that people who are emotionally reactive or just not in control of their emotions, why they kind of compare them to children, because this is what children do. If they don't get their way, they cross their arms, they start pouting, they'll, try to call you names. And of course, a child, they don't have the brain capacity to actually, well, maybe not all children, but a lot of kids, they'll call you stupid or a meanie or something, something dumb like that, because they don't have the complex brain neurons to actually hurt your feelings in a way that really matters, unless you're just super sensitive and you get upset when kids call you stupid or something. But as you get older, it then develops and it becomes a little bit more complex, but it's really the same thing. It's no different than a child acting out because they're not allowed to have ice cream before bed, or a child getting upset because you told them no when they wanted to buy a piece of candy or something. And, you can compare it to many situations in your life. And I think now that I've kind of got this phrase and this verbiage, I'm able to look at things and say, okay, am I emotionally retaliating right now? It's not even about reacting, but now am I trying to retaliate? Am I trying to make this person feel something or do something that's outside of my control just because I feel like that's what I want? You know what I'm saying? It's a pretty, you have to look at yourself and think, okay, am I being selfish because I want this person to do this thing and they're not doing it? And am I now not only reacting, but am I retaliating? It's pretty deep, and there's a lot of levels to it. And I've just come to realize I've been emotionally retaliating for a large part of my life. And even now it happens with certain things. If something's off schedule, and I'm working on it, right? I'm in the middle of really working on it and creating a foundation to where my emotions do not control my reality, because I don't want to keep bringing these moods and these feelings in. But as I'm working on it, again, I'm noticing that that's something that I'm doing, and I'm just okay, now that I'm recognizing this, I can fix this. And like I say in my past videos, the awareness is key. And it is pretty painful, and it's almost embarrassing too, because you can tell like from deep within when you get worked up. Speaking for myself, like I can really tell when I start to get worked up, when I start to get angry, upset. I'm like planning in my head like what I'm gonna do or what I'm gonna say to make this person do and say this. And this is honestly a big thing for me to admit, because I feel like nobody wants to admit that they're trying to be manipulative. No one wants to admit out loud that they're trying to retaliate or that they're reacting this way because they're not getting that way. Like that's not a good feeling, especially as an adult. But I think like being vulnerable about it and just sharing my experiences and like saying it out loud will help me better understand myself and better understand like what's actually going on. So yeah, like now moving forward, I just know that emotional retaliation really does nothing but hurt me in the long run, and that it's not cool to try to like manipulate and try to get people to do what you want them to do just because you think that's the right thing that should be done. You know what I'm saying? So that's all that I wanted to talk about. And you know, I want to know if you guys have any experiences like emotionally retaliating yourself, or maybe dealing with people. Like maybe now that I've explained it and talked about it, you can see it in your life too, where people are trying to manipulate. And I'm not trying to say like point fingers or anything, but it's just something to be aware of, because I notice I'm doing it myself. I notice, you know, now in my life, I can notice when other people are trying to do it to me too. And it's all a learning experience, and I'm not holding it against people. I'm going to try to not hold it against myself too, because I understand like we're all at different levels. We're all in different phases in our life, and everybody's kind of trying to change and grow and do the best that they can with the information that they have. So yeah, like I said, now that I have this information, I'm really eager and open to like changing it about myself, and just being more aware of when people try to do it to me and not take things so personally to the point where it's like I'm feeding into it, if that makes sense. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure that you like, that you comment, that you subscribe, and let me know your experience. And if there's any other video ideas, I have a lot written down. I have a lot of videos that I'm going to be making, but you know, if you have any other tips or experiences or anything like that, or topics that you want me to talk about, definitely let me know below and I'll write them down. So I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye.